So glad you can join us for lesson two, the power of your story. It is so freeing when you tell somebody your story and you read other people's stories that you know you're not alone. Uh, as I shared in lesson one, I was pregnant at 15. They told me it was a quick fix. My doctor told me it'd be easier to abort than have a full-term baby. And with all these things, I believed them. But that wasn't the end of my story. And the thing that really surprised me was at 15, I could sign for my own abortion. Even though my dad went, there was none of his signatures needed. So I was at 15 able to just have my abortion without any really parental consent. So instead of just listening to my testimony, let me tell you a few other ladies' testimonies. I'm going to put them on the screen so you can reread them if you need to. First, I'd like to introduce Jessica Ray. She grew up in a town where everyone knew everyone. My mom was a hardworking single mom. This was because at the age of 7, my dad split and never returned. I guess that is where my story begins. At the very early age, I was introduced to alcohol and molested by another man I trusted. At that point, I told myself that I must not be worthy of good things. I felt that my dad didn't want me, the other man I trusted hurt me, and my mom was never there. And in my mind, that is how I felt. Now I wish I would have told her. So I got older, alcohol and sex was a way I felt wanted. Unfortunately, I ended up pregnant not once, but 3 times, which all ended in abortion. By the age of 18, I had 3 abortions and my life completely spiraled out of control. At the age of 24, I got diagnosed with cervical cancer, had a procedure that was told I wouldn't be able to get pregnant, and if I did, I wouldn't be able to carry the full term. Guilt, shame, and anger only led to more drinking. That was pretty much my life until I was 31. I remember feeling sick, tired. I thought I was dying. I thought all my bad had caught up with me. I go to the doctors and he tells me I'm 12 weeks pregnant. Needless to say, God got a hold of my heart. I stopped all my bad habits, smoking and drinking, and I was blessed with a beautiful baby girl. When she was 3, I gave my life to the Lord. I was blessed to get married and have another child at 38, a baby boy. My guilt grew deeper even when I knew that I was forgiven. With those 3 precious babies, I was still hanging on to the secret for a long time. It affected my relationship till I was 48 when I was offered through CareNet an aftercare program. My healing journey started. I told my secret was out and I met some amazing women that told their stories too. I was not alone. I had ladies that would surround me and I can contact at any time. If I'm going to say anything into your life, if you're in a crisis situation, you don't know what to do, or you need help to get over your past choices, reach out. Don't believe the lies in your head. You matter, and there are people that care. That was Jessica Ray. This is Melissa. Melissa, I introduced herself and would like to share with you my journey through one of the hardest chapters in my life. You see, it wasn't until the last 12 years I could even say the word abortion. Okay, so I still have a slight cringe. Yes, I had an abortion. You may be considering or having an abortion already. Though my circumstances might be different than your story, the lasting effects are more likely the same. When I was 16, I married my high school sweetheart. We were 3 months pregnant and wanted to be married before the baby was born. At about the 5th month, I became ill with preeclampsia, which is a high blood pressure fluid retention. That pregnancy, I had an early C-section 2 weeks before my due date. The baby went into fetal distress. I became very ill with toxemia. My daughter and I made it through, but my recovery was slow. When my baby turned 6 months old, I became pregnant again. I was absolutely shocked. I went to the doctors and he ordered an ultrasound to get an accurate timeline of how far along I was. He also took home a keepsake picture from the ultrasound that day. I couldn't believe I was 9 weeks pregnant and showing signs of high blood pressure. I even thought an abortion, but it wasn't even it was presented to me at the time as an option by my doctor. I was completely confused. I was 16, married, already a mother, and now another baby. I thought about that. was what was I going to do? I was told by the nurse that the abortion is a quick procedure. You're in and out with like a doctor's visit, just an hour. That they couldn't be even more wrong. After several weeks of decision making, my husband and I decided to go ahead and make an appointment to have an abortion. So at the 13th week of pregnancy, I walked into a Victorian home made into a clinic for women. You see, no one ever explained to me that every moment of that day, from the clinic to what clothes I was wearing, would forever be burned into my memories. No one mentioned to me the blood work, counseling before the procedure, the IV sedation, physical pain, the ultrasound they used during the procedure, or the protesters waiting outside. No one told me that I would have a doctor that was rough with his touch or would be stern with no bedside manners. They certainly didn't tell me that the sedation wouldn't work, but would amplify everything I was experiencing during the procedure. During the procedure, they had to use an ultrasound because I didn't want to let go of my baby. I didn't know that I could feel life leave my body. My heart was completely broken. A year later, winning a class of parenting, we passed around these little baby dolls the size of the early stages of pregnancy. That is when I realized this baby was already formed and not a clump of tissue. I slipped into depression to the point that I almost took my own life. See, after an abortion, I didn't know what I would experience, such extreme and painful guilt and remorse. I also found that many other emotions surfaced, such as shame, regret, flashbacks, nightmares, extreme sadness. The grief became severe depression with unforgiveness and anger for me and towards my husband. Each doctor's visit, they would ask how many pregnancies I had. I had to say that word abortion. 31 years ago, I had an abortion. My heart still hurts when I think of the dreadful day, September 17th, 1988. Will always be emotional and forever imprinted in my heart and memory. So there are two of the women's testimony along with mine, and I will continue to share mine as we go. Take the time, write yours down, get it out. You can email me, text me, call me. I would love to hear from you. Or tell a trusted friend, but I believe you could get freedom if you would just let somebody hear your story. So here's our email address, and then our CareNet. It's a confidential line, anonymous. You don't even have to say your name. And I would talk to you and get the help that you need. And if you have additional help, we can help in that area. And I'm just excited for what you will find freedom in while you share your story. So I'm going to let you go for now, and I hope that you join us for lesson 3, which is on our grief and our anger. And I'll read you some of my angry letters. And they were angry letters for sure. Take care, and I'll let you go now. Bye now.